Hey everybody, this is day 11 of hashtag homeless. And I don't know, I think overall I'm feeling a little better physically today, but I'm still not there. The weather was absolutely wretched today, pouring rain on and off. It's about to rain again, I just don't know when. I'm kind of chilling under a bridge with a giant pillar, trying to block the wind, but the wind keeps twirling and changing directions, and this microphone on this phone is pretty good, so I'm just gonna assume that everything that I say will be heard. Even when people are revving their mufflerless Harleys in the background, I can still hear what's being said when I check the videos out myself for a little, quality control. Let's see. Today was Memorial Day. Thank you for those who served the country. I know most of you who actually served this country and put your lives on the line for this are disgusted by the things going on in America. I don't know anybody in the military or former military who approves. Now, that's not to say that there are or aren't, but I don't know them. And I know a good number of people who, served. And let's see here. So the shelter allowed us to stay in the shelter today, and I took advantage of that because there was very limited options in terms of where to go. But it was kind of weird. One of the workers told us last night that we could stay in all day. And then this morning they were saying we can't. And then they were saying we can. And then they were saying we can't. And it went back and forth and back and forth right up until 9 a.m. when they finally said, oh, no, you can stay today. And I'm like, just come up with consistency and stick with it. And I mean, I get it. It's chaos. And there's a lot of things going on, and I give these people credit because they put up with a lot of stuff. And all of these people truly care about what they're doing, and they truly care about helping people. And I'm truly thankful to have a roof over my head at night. So don't get the wrong idea, because I get frustrated. I get really frustrated when something gets in the way of doing what I need to do to find a job, because it's mind-boggling that someone would want to do that. And so there was a little bit of that today, like some weirdness about setting up a laptop and sitting at a laptop all day. And I'm like, I'm writing code. I'm working on a portfolio. Like, I'm sitting in a homeless shelter looking for a job and working towards that. I'm not going out and smoking crack. I'm not sitting under the bridge outside all day. I'm not, hanging out all day. I'm not, watching TV all day. I'm being productive. And I'm like, does anybody really have a problem with that? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Today I focused on professional jobs only, sent out a bunch of resumes, applied to some jobs via LinkedIn. I got 100 resume goal by the end of the month, and I'm up to about 85. So I got 15 more to send out. And the first Thursday, I've got this interview on Wednesday, and I'm not doing anything but focus on preparing for that interview, except for the other appointments that I have. You see I'm looking a little scruffy. That won't be the case tomorrow. I have an appointment with a temp agency, not for a specific job, but to just go over my experience, my situation. And they know I came from the homeless shelter. They know that I'm in a situation. They know a lot of things about it. And I'm just going to see what kind of opportunities they can provide. I'm going to leave no stone unturned. If somebody suggests, hey, check this out, check them out, I'm going to do it. Jamestown's a broken town. I'm looking around as I walk. Half of the businesses are boarded up and closed. This town is dying. You've got these corrupt oligarchs running this, Barney Fife town to enrich themselves, sucking up all the resources for themselves, giving themselves all the power, and stabbing the people in the back and turning this town into a complete desolate wasteland. There are a few nice things here, but they're far and few between. There are jobs. To say there's no jobs is ridiculous. That's not a valid excuse. It's a numbers game. Keep sending out resumes, keep applying for jobs over and over and over again. The only time it's not going to work out is when you stop and give up. So I will be blasting out probably throughout the week, starting tomorrow. I will apply for minimum wage and general labor jobs whenever I have. I need to set aside an hour at a time, because I'm telling you, I applied at Target. Yeah, it was Target. Target's job application took an hour and a half. Like, for a job at Target, you got me into a job application that takes an hour and a half to fill out online, watching all these corporate training videos and taking quizzes and giving my entire life history and all this other nonsense. Like, come on, Target. I didn't have to go through that much stuff to get a 6-figure job. I mean, get over yourselves. Really, like, that's ridiculous. And if that disqualifies me from working at Target because I said that on YouTube and the algorithm picks up #Target, well, so be it. I'm calling it like it is. I'm not, I'm trying not to be foul-mouthed. I'm trying not to be too pessimistic, but at the same time, I'm keeping it real. Let's see here. So I got 3 polished code samples on my CodePen account, which is part of my portfolio. I have a list of about 10 things that I came up with well over a month ago that I wanted to put up there. And right now I have a goal to get 5 in place. I use an app called Trello to keep track of my to-do list. And if anybody out there knows what a Kanban board is, it's where you basically have a to-do list with a bunch of columns, and you can call those columns whatever you want. In each stage of a task, you drag to the next column. So you have a column that says haven't started yet. You have a column that says in progress. You have a column that says it's blocked. Like, I could not start looking for a regular job because I didn't have my driver's license yet. There were a number of things. I couldn't unlock my Capital One checking account. A whole bunch of different things that not having a photo ID was blocking me from. So all those things went into the blocked column. But I'm very organized about this stuff. I can tell you every single week since I've been released from prison, specifically every single little thing that I've done every week. Every job I've applied to, the stage of every job I've applied to, what transpired when, all that stuff. Yeah, there's someone walking by, so. What's up, man? This little area, you gotta be kind of careful because there's some, I'm just gonna say it, there's some lunatics down here that, like, I got followed all the way to CVS a few minutes ago by someone screaming at the top of his lungs. I don't know if he was yelling at me or otherwise, but I had to keep looking over my shoulder saying, you better not go there. Just go on your merry way, homie, because we don't need that problem today. You don't and I don't. So let's just go yell and scream somewhere else. Keep going that way. I'll go this way. So let's see. What else? Job hunt. It's going. I could probably be applying for more labor jobs, but a lot of the jobs I've been applying for on LinkedIn lately are like 2-click applications. So those are the kind of applications that typically don't go anywhere because the job will be posted less than 24 hours ago, sometimes 2 hours ago, and it has over 100 applicants in a span of an hour. That could be 500 applicants. It's just, so it is what it is. There are no jobs that I could just get in Jamestown. There's none of that exists in this town. Buffalo, maybe. There might be, there's probably companies in Buffalo I could work for that, Rochester, Syracuse. There's probably companies in those areas that, in the bigger cities, yeah, there's opportunities. But not in Jamestown. Jamestown's a dying town. There's so many towns broken, dilapidated, just garbage-filled towns. Like, you can't even have a nice park here without people just dumping bags of trash everywhere. I mean, the whole park is just covered in trash all the time. It's just a broken town. I don't know why God brought me here. I'm going to trust that he brought me here for a reason. Like I said, the job search is going. It's going. I'm sticking with it. I got 3 solid examples in my code sample bucket, and I started working on sample number 4, and I got far enough that it actually works, and the functionality is all there. It's perfect. Everything works the way it's supposed to. There's just some glitches in the styling and the look of it that are probably because I'm missing some code. I had to kind of take something that I already built and cobble together all the different files that hold the code into one file and just kind of cross my fingers and hope it works. And I spent 2 hours just fixing one error, next error, until it finally stopped giving me errors and it finally displayed, and I tweaked a couple of things and it finally worked. So I'm guessing that if I spend 4 hours on it tomorrow, I will have that polished. The code side will probably be, everything's going to be sloppy behind the scenes now on anything else I do between now and Wednesday, but visually it's going to look nice. So we'll leave it at that. And I have, let's see, I have at least 6 more items in my to-do list specifically related to examples of complex samples of code that I've written for different applications. And it's complicated enough that I can tell you that every single one of these examples, when I did it for the company I did it for, I was the only one at the company who could do it. I was the only one at the company who understood how it worked. And everybody loved it because it saved either time or resources or made other people's jobs easier. And I'm not going to get into the really nitty-gritty details, but these are complicated enough examples that anybody who writes code for a living could look at and say, yeah, this guy should know what he's doing. The thing I'm worried about the most on Wednesday is whether he's going to start throwing code questions at me, like textbook code questions about JavaScript and things like that. And I'm never good at those. Sometimes I do okay, but that's not my style. I'm not that kind of a developer. Everybody who's worked with me knows that, and they don't question my ability because of it. I've gotten nothing but rave reviews every time I've worked for a company. I've never had a company talk bad about my work, ever. So I stand by that. But when you work for a software company, one thing that you're going to see if you're interviewing for an engineering position, especially in the web browser interface side of things, you're going to find we want you to have experience in this framework, this language, this other framework, and this other thing. And I've worked for 6 to 10 companies, worked programming complicated, massive enterprise level apps. And I can tell you every single one of those companies, their entire code base was 100% and completely different from one to the next. From the framework to the underlying foundation to the databases that were used to the code that ties the database to what you see in the web browser down to what controls the way everything looks in the web browser. Completely different. And with the user interface side of things, when you're into that programming, it's the Wild West. Like, I guarantee you there are 600 ways to build an app and more, probably 1,000. And so there were a list of like 7 different frameworks that were in this ad. And I just kind of rolled my eyes. I'm like, no, I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that. I knew 1 out of the 7. And I don't even have that much experience with the 1 out of the 7. But I've worked for 7 to 10 companies using completely different code structures and languages and styles of working different source control tools. These companies could not be more different from one to the next. And it would take me less than a month to get up to speed and be productive and slamming and actually contributing to the team every time, because there are core skills and fundamental skills that go along with this work that if you grasp them, you can learn any of these programming languages. You can learn any of these frameworks in a short period of time. It's basically just you're trying to accomplish a task, and each framework will have a different way to complete the task. And so it's like I know what the code needs to look like in the browser for something to look a certain way. But each way of writing code takes a different approach to how you get to that finish line. And so if you know what the finish line looks like, you can kind of cobble your way onto your feet to learn these frameworks on the fly. It's like if you know how to ride a bicycle, you should be able to get on any bicycle and ride it. I learned how to use a camera with the fundamentals of photography. I used a Canon AE1 as my first camera, 35 millimeter film camera, completely manual. And I learned that inside and out. And now you can put any camera in my hand, any camera, Sony, Nikon, Canon, SLR, DSLR, a mirrorless camera. I can use any camera app on the phone to its full extent. A point and shoot. You cannot put a camera in my hand that I'm not going to figure out how to use in about 2 minutes and take good pictures and understand what I'm doing, understand exposure, and have the camera set up properly to take the photos I want to take. It's just a matter of learning the interface of that brand, be it Sony, Nikon, or Canon, and the quirks and where the buttons are. And so it's kind of like that with programming. And so as long as they're willing to understand that if they got 200 applicants, I guarantee you there's not one applicant that knows every single thing that was listed on this ad. 100% guarantee it. Unless that applicant already worked for the company and uses it all the time, or uses all of them, and is just trying to advance up the ladder. So that's it. It's about we're getting into 18 minutes here. I'm going to cut it short. I want to get back to the shelter before it rains. Hopefully I'm not sick tomorrow, and I should be looking cleaner tomorrow. I'm going to shave, take a shower, and we'll go from there. Hopefully tomorrow's update's better. Talk to you later. Peace.